Well, after the utter shit show that was EA's conference on Saturday, we got Microsoft's turn last night, and for those of you who didn't know, I actually sat in with the GameCast guys and spoke about it live as the conference went on. So they'll have a video on demand about that, and if you want to hear what I made of it as it went along, then you can tune into that. And there was Count Fracula and also Fatal Shock from the GameCast crew on there as well, and we discussed it as it went on. And as I say, they should have a video on demand up of that, and I'll put a link in to the description box down below, so check that out as well. It's going to be a bit different on that because obviously you get a slightly different view when you're watching something live to what you think afterwards, and after you've gone away and thought about it a bit, and that's what you're getting here. So what did I make of it? Well, it started really well. We got a video of Halo Infinite, the trailer, and that looked pretty nice. When we're getting that, I couldn't tell you. Obviously, it's a work in progress, so it's going to be a little while. And then about, I think it was an hour in, if you take all the sort of preliminary stuff, once the conference got going, after the Halo thing, at 1 hour and 2 minutes, we got Phil Spencer came on, and he talked about the fact that they were going to be delivering 50 games, 18 exclusives, and 15 premieres. Now, obviously, me being me, I think, well, obviously 18 exclusives. Are they all new exclusives? And looking through, I'm not sure that they are all new exclusives, but there are a few in there, and it does look pretty interesting. So anyway, let's get into it. The first thing they showed was more Ori, and that still looks beautiful. Then we got a game called Sekiro, and that was a premiere. That wasn't an exclusive. It's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and that looked pretty good as well. I like that. Once we'd seen the footage from that, and that's a game that I probably will look into buying, we had Todd Howard from Bethesda come on, and he talked about the fact that Fallout 4's coming to Game Pass, and then he gave us some information about Fallout 76. And that looks pretty nice. It's a prequel to the other Fallout games. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's a Bethesda game. It looks fantastic. My only issue might be that it, you know, it could end up being a world building kind of game. I just want to wander around the wasteland and shoot mutants, basically. So we'll see how that one pans out. Apparently the map's 4 times the size of Fallout 4, so it's going to be huge. Next, 1 hour and 16 minutes, we had Square come on, which is a collaboration they did with Don't Nod. So they're publishing, and Don't Nod are the developers. And it's a kind of Life is Strange game. And that's actually coming out on June the 26th. And that's not an exclusive either, but that's called The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. And it's free. And it also looks bloody lovely. I don't know what the monetization on it's going to be, because obviously you're going to want to make their money somehow, but that looked really nice. Then we got more Crackdown. Now, obviously, Crackdown's been delayed until February 2019 at this point, so, you know, obviously we're disappointed about not seeing that this year, and we're not sure what's going to happen with the game because it's been in development hell, but it is coming, so, I mean, what else can I say about that? We saw a little bit more of it. Looked okay. I mean, I was quite looking forward to the game. Obviously, the constant delays have put me off a bit. Next, we got Nier Automata, and that's coming to the Xbox, and it's including all the currently available DLC, and that's coming soon on the 26th of this month, 26th of June. And I like the look of that game. I actually own it on the PlayStation, so whether I'm going to pick it up on the Xbox or not is open to debate. But yeah, it's nice to see that finally coming over to the Xbox anyway, for those of you who only have the Xbox. And after that, we saw some Metro Exodus. And obviously that, again, is not an exclusive. This was just some more stuff from the game. And that looks great. I think the look of that game is amazing. And obviously, if you're a console gamer, the best version of it is almost certainly going to be on the Xbox One X. So that's nice for Xbox gamers, and I do like the look of that game. I've only kind of dabbled with the other games, not really got into them in a big way. I played a fair bit of the first one, but this one looks good. Then we had Phil Spencer came back on again and talked about how we're going to get the best versions of all games, and that was a kind of preliminary to announcing that Xbox, for the first time ever, is going to get a Kingdom Hearts game. Now, again, I kind of dabbled with one of the Kingdom Hearts games recently, actually, just to have a look at it. And it's not really my thing, but obviously it's got a big fan base. So for those of you who like Kingdom Hearts, who only own an Xbox, I think that's unlikely, to be honest, given that the game has always been associated with the PlayStation in the past. I think you're going to be happy about that, though. That's coming in January, apparently. So, yeah, that's quite a nice one. Sea of Thieves, then we got some updates for Sea of Thieves, and those of you who are interested in Sea of Thieves, I still am a little bit interested in Sea of Thieves. Cursed Sails is coming in July, an add-on, and the Forsaken Shores is coming in September, and they look all right. If Sea of Thieves gets more and more and more content and fulfills its potential, it could be a really good game. It does look nice, and what little I played of it was fun, but there's limited content at present, isn't there? Then we got some EA stuff. We got Battlefield 5 and not an awful lot more. We did get a little bit more story stuff, but am I really interested in Battlefield 5? I don't know. I might pick it up, but you know my views on EA. Should I cut my nose off to spite my face? I don't know. Should you? Who knows? If the game turns out to be brilliant, then I probably will pick it up. But other than that, EA have a lot of convincing to do in my book. Then, at an hour and 30 minutes, give or take, we had Forza Horizon 4, which is probably the only real exclusive we're seeing from Microsoft this year. And that's one of the sort of downers of this conference, that they did a lot of good stuff in this conference, and I was relatively pleased with it. But not much is coming this year. A lot of this is for the future. But Forza Horizon 4, no, that's this year. And that's coming out on October the 2nd, and it's going to be available on Game Pass. And that's another thing that's making Game Pass look more and more and more attractive as time goes on. We're getting more games on it, and all the new games are coming to it. And I have to say, I know people have said, oh, just Forza, who wants that? Who cares about? Well, Xbox gamers do care about Forza. And frankly, if you're a gamer, if you don't like the look of Forza, certainly Forza Horizon, I think that's really taken up the baton of the Forza games recently. Forza Horizon 3 is a fantastic game. And this one, set in the UK with the destructible environments and the persistent world, it just looks phenomenal. It does look brilliant. And it's seasons as well. It's got seasons in it. I have to say, I'm a big fan of racing games. And I love the Forza Horizon games because they're kind of arcadey, but they still feel like you're driving a car. They're just great fun, and I cannot knock that game. It looks phenomenal. And then, from there, one of the real highlights of the show for me was that Phil Spencer came back on. This is about 1 hour, 40 minutes, I think, and he announced that Microsoft have acquired some new studios. And the first one is actually not an acquisition. It's the initiative. It's a new studio that Microsoft have created for the express purpose of developing first-party games. And we'd heard rumours about this, but this was great news for me. It's going to be a few years down the line before we see any, fruits from this, but it's a statement of intent. And that statement of intent only got bigger, because not only are we getting the initiative, Microsoft have bought Undead Labs, who make the State of Decay games, and I know they've had mixed reception, but the potential's there, and they could make good games. They're still a small studio, and if they get a bit more money and a bit more time, they could produce great games. I still think the State of Decay games have a lot of potential. They've also acquired the Forza Horizon developer Playground Games, and that is another big deal. Playground Games, as I've already said, Forza Horizon is phenomenal, and they're creating a new department, a new sort of studio to make another game as well. And we'd heard rumours about this, but this was good news for me. Fantastic, the idea that Playground are going to be putting their expertise into making another kind of game. And I've heard people say, oh, well, they only make driving games. These guys know what they're doing. And if they put their mind to making a different type of game, I'm telling you now, it's going to be good. Well, at least it should be, all things being equal. As long as Microsoft keep their hands off a little bit and let the creatives do their thing, then we'll be fine. So at this point, I was feeling quite happy, certainly about the future of Xbox, but it didn't stop there. They've also acquired Ninja Theory, and for those of you who don't know, Ninja Theory make Hellblade, and Hellblade is a phenomenal game that came out as a timed exclusive on the PlayStation and I think on PC as well, and it has now recently come across to the Xbox as well, and it's a great game. And people talked about it being a AA game or whatever. I don't care whether it's AA, AAA, single A, B, whatever they want to call it. It's a great game, and I love that game. I haven't finished it because I buggered up my PlayStation and lost my save file, so I've had to start it again. But it is a phenomenal game. I love the style. The sound design in that game is phenomenal. So Microsoft acquiring them is a big deal for me. I think that's a great move by Microsoft. And then there was one other that they've acquired as well, and that's Compulsion Games, and they're the developer of We Happy Few. Now, when I first saw We Happy Few, I thought this looked phenomenal. And then over time, I've got less and less interested. They're being published by Gearbox, and they became AAA, and they were offering all these different packages. And, well, it got AAA-ified, didn't it? So I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping Microsoft might say, look, sort it out, and we'll get it produced well, and it'll be a nice package, and the game will, focus itself and produce something really good. But, only time's going to tell on that one. I don't think it's a bad acquisition for Microsoft, though. I think there's obviously some talented people there, so that could be good. From there, we got PUBG. Yeah, who cares? I've kind of lost interest in PUBG with all the bloody nonsense about suing people, so they can, do one as far as I'm concerned. And then after that, we got this Tales of Vesperia coming this winter, and that's not an exclusive either. And then we got The Division 2, again, not an exclusive. Looks okay. I kind of lost interest in The Division, to be honest. This one might be good. We'll see. And then from there, what did we get? We had some stuff relating to Game Pass. And Ashley Spiker came on and talked about how we're getting more games coming to Game Pass and more third-party games coming to Game Pass. And, there were a few of those. So I don't know, if you're interested in Game Pass, I am. It's looking, as I said, a better and better service, so that was good. And then we had a kind of a montage of a whole load of Idea Xbox games, and some of those look really good. So, yeah, that was quite positive as well. From there, we had Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Again, it's not an exclusive. So, they talked about all these exclusives, but a lot of the games weren't. A lot of the games are also coming to PlayStation as well, so take it as you find it, I suppose. Shadow of Tomb Raider looks nice, though. Looks well-made game. I've only touched on the others, to be honest. I got put off the first of the three, if you like. The voice acting wasn't all that for my liking, and I didn't play the next one, although I've heard that one's better. The gameplay on it is, apparently, from what I've played of it and what people have told me, is very good. So I do want to go back and play those at some point. So I'm looking forward to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it looks like it's going to be good. And then we got an exclusive called Session, which a lot of people thought might be Skate. It's a skateboarding game. Not really my sort of games generally, although I enjoy them when I play them, but I don't generally tend to buy them if I'm being honest. But that looks like it might be interesting. Don't know much about that, to be honest, at this stage. But that's an exclusive, as I say. And then Black Desert, I thought that looked really nice. And it's getting a beta in the fall, as you Americans call it, or autumn, as we call it over here. I mean, it all kept coming thick and fast. It was quite exciting, to be honest. Sitting in on the stream, we were all getting quite hyped for it. It was slickly done. And it reminded me, I said during the stream, it reminded me a little bit of what PlayStation did a couple of years ago, where it was game after game after game after game. As I say, few caveats, most of those games aren't exclusives. Nevertheless, it still does show that Microsoft are, they're trying to make an effort. And that's, at this stage, that's really all we want as Xbox gamers. And I haven't really got a dog in the race, if you like. I I like the Xbox, I like the PlayStation and all the rest of it. So, it doesn't matter to me other than the fact that I do want to see competition. It's nice to see these companies pushing each other, and that's how we get better games. After Black Desert, we had Devil May Cry 5, which is coming in spring next year. They showed a bit of gameplay. It looked okay. I've not played the Devil May Cry games, so I can't really comment too much on that. I do know, I think it was Serb, one of the other guys I talked to over on my Discord and on Clay's Discord, and I think he's also on the Discord of the GameCast guys, and I think he's a Devil May Cry fan, so he'd be quite pleased about that, although I did see he was saying some stuff about it looks like one of the Devil May Cry games that people weren't so keen on, so I don't know. I discuss that in the comments if you like. You can probably let me know a little bit about that. Then we had some DLC for Cuphead, and that's not coming until next year, so again, nothing this year. Then a game called Tunic, which looks bloody gorgeous, and the music in that was phenomenal. I really, really like the look of that. Again, not much to know about that. That is an exclusive, though, apparently. Then we had Phil came back on again, and he talked about how they were committed to, games and all the rest of it, and then he talked about a game called... he introduced a game called Jump Force. Again, not an exclusive, and that's coming next year. And then we got Dying Light 2, and that looks pretty cool, actually. And then one of the guys from the developers came on and talked about Dying Light 2. And I played a bit of Dying Light 2, I know. And I've got Grant, specifically Over the Edge, one of the other guys I speak to quite regularly. He is a big Dying Light fan, and he's going to be stoked about that one. I couldn't really get into the Dying Light game. I don't know why. It just didn't grab me. But I can still see that it's a quality game, and this is going to be well received. Again, though, not an exclusive. It's going to be on the PlayStation as well. After that, we got Battletoads. Now, I know a lot of people are really keen on Battletoads and love Battletoads, certainly in the States. Not one that really was ever on my radar. A friend of mine said to me, have you ever heard of Battletoads last year? And I said, no, to be honest, I'd never heard of it. But yeah, that's coming. So that's coming 2019. But again, I don't think that's an exclusive. So interesting. I don't know. It could be. I didn't see whether... I missed it, actually. I didn't see whether it was Microsoft Studios or not. And if it is Microsoft Studios, obviously it is going to be an exclusive. So if you spotted that, let me know in the comments. Then we had Just Cause 4, and that's coming this year. Again, not an exclusive though. Going to be a multi-platform game, so you can play that on the PlayStation or on the Xbox or PC. Whether it's coming on the Switch, I couldn't tell you. Probably not. But it's going to be made available for a lot of different platforms. But yeah, they had that on the stage, and that those games are fun. They're crazy. I only really played the first one and a bit of the second one, I think. But yeah, they're great fun. So that was cool. And then from there, we got, they moved into talking about Gears, and everyone was a little bit disappointed at first, I think, and I think they did this deliberately. We got Gears Pop, which is a mobile game. Not really interesting to me. I don't know if you guys are interested in that, but doesn't really bother me. Then they announced another game called Gears Tactics. I think these are coming in 2019, both of these. And that looks like a kind of top-down game as far as I could see. That looked quite good, though. Again, not very much about it. So, I don't mind seeing new Gears games in a different format. That, to me, that's cool. I like it when they try different things. So it'll either be a good game or it won't, but at least they're trying something new. Then they announced that we're getting Gears 5. When we're getting Gears 5, I couldn't tell you. It could be some way down the line yet, because it's obviously early development. But the gameplay of that I saw, well, mainly cutscene stuff, looked pretty good, I have to say. It looked like a Gears game. The story looked interesting. I was quite intrigued to find out what's going on. There's obviously some tension between JD and Kate. So that's, that got me intrigued. I'm quite, looking forward to that. I mean, I love the Gears games anyway. So if you like the Gears games, this looks like it might be right up your alley. But when you're going to play it, who knows? And that, we thought, was pretty much it, because we got the closing statements from Phil. And he talked about, Microsoft spending money on AI and developing that for gameplay and cloud gaming so you can play on any device. And we all knew about all this stuff anyway. But, it's interesting to hear him talk about it. And then as he was finishing off, it seemed, although it's pretty cheesy, but it was quite cool as well, seemed like the conference had been hacked. And then we got a prompt up on the screen, and obviously it was Cyberpunk 2077, and we got some footage from that. And that was really cool. It was a really good way to end the show. So overall, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Main caveats, well, games really. They presented lots of games. Not many of them were exclusives, not really. Certainly not many of them are coming this year. I think the only one really that I saw that really interests me that's coming this year is Forza Horizon 4. And brilliant game and all that, but, But the big thing for me is they laid down a marker and they said to us as gamers, look, we're not backing off. We're not giving up on gaming. We're not, just playing lip service. We're not talking rubbish. We are actually committed, and we've spent a lot of money, and we're developing studios, we're buying studios, and we're keen to make great games. And frankly, I think this year's pretty much a bust, but that's all I wanted to hear. Honestly, I wanted to hear that Microsoft were committed and they weren't just talking bollocks. So yeah, I think it was a pretty solid conference. I don't think it was spectacularly brilliant. I mean, if they'd have announced some other IPs, older IPs that had got remakes or remasters or whatever, that would have impressed me as well. But what we got was pretty good. It was pretty good. So yeah, I was quite impressed. But anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm giving them a little bit of a pass because I didn't expect to see much for this year. So my expectations were quite low. But given the level of my expectations, they actually delivered and then some, certainly with the acquisition of the studios. But you may disagree with me. And if you do, let me know in the comments and we can have a conversation about it. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and get myself a drink because my voice is going now, so I can barely talk. But as I say, let me know in the comments what you think and we'll have a chat about it. And yeah, I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.